Hey, welcome back to another episode of Veterun. I'm your host, Jonathan Richardson. A couple PSAs. Go ahead and like and subscribe and follow this channel. That way you can continue to watch more and learn more about our veterans and how they are still running. And I'm saying that at the beginning because I know half of you probably won't even make it 5 minutes in this before you turn it off. So go ahead and like and subscribe. Today's guest is Brian Butler. I'll let him kind of introduce himself here in a second. But I've known you for about 3 years.
Yeah.
But this is my first time meeting him. So we go to the same gym. Every time I'm on the treadmill, this man is working out right in front of me, and we always make eye contact. We never say anything. So we're like those gym bros that are just like, one of those nods up type guys. And then fun fact also, his wife, and this is kind of how we connected, she's the one that makes these Veterun shirts. So shout out to her and the awesome work that she does. But really quick, Brian, go ahead and let's talk about your run. Let's get that out of the way. Or, I'm sorry, your ran.
Okay.
So your ran is when you went in the military. So I believe
Yep.
you said 2008.
Yep.
And then, give me a brief background. It can be as long as you want, as short as you want, and then just stop when you hit that DD 214.
Okay. So went into the Marine Corps 2008, Paris Island, did my time there, went to MCT afterwards, Marine Corps training for everybody to be a rifleman. And left that, went into school. I was a motor team mechanic. Went to school in North Carolina, so literally left MCT, went right over to the other camp to do the school. Actually put in for a East Coast or a West Coast job because all my roommates during school were all from Cali. So I was like, it'd be cool to go to California. All my buddies. Well, what I heard was that somebody requested overseas, so half my class got shipped to Okinawa. So we all went to Okinawa. I spent, probably a year in Okinawa. And when, I don't know if, obviously, I think you were a little bit further in later in the Marine Corps. So when the MAT-Vs hit the fleet, we were the first two mechanics to go to school on those to learn how to do the PMFs or the PMs and stuff like that on the MAT-Vs. When I got out of that school, my chief warrant officer asked me and the guy that was in school, because at that time our unit was deployed in Afghanistan, and we come back and he was like, hey, y'all guys want to go to Afghanistan? I was like, yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, right. I'm like, yeah, we want to go. So he was like, okay, get your stuff together. And we deployed with CLB-3 out of Hawaii, went to Afghanistan, came back from Afghanistan, back to Okinawa. I spent about three months or so, checked out of there, and spent my last year in Pendleton. From there, transitioned out of the Marine Corps, got my DD-214.
Okay. That's the shortest and sweetest explanation of military career we've had yet. Okay, so you're a motor T mechanic. So I know you use the term PM, and a lot of these people don't know what our acronyms mean. So that's like preventative maintenance, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Is there anything else you kind of want to go over? Anything else you might have done, in Afghanistan that might be of some importance, or just a good story that you'd like to share? Just because it was so short and sweet.
Yeah. Time in Okinawa was the best. I don't know if any of the veterans that's listening that's ever been to Okinawa. They always tell you when you come in, it's like you either go to church, gym, or you go to the bars. And a buddy of mine that I met, he's actually from Illinois. We both at the time we were both weightlifters and getting into bodybuilding and stuff. And we both were like, we're going to the gym, and then we're going to the bar. There was a bar that was owned by a guy from Nashville, Tennessee, and the bar was called Nashville. And that was our place. So spent most of our time there in the gym, and just did the Marine thing, just hang out and enjoy being away from I guess the world we live in, I guess, just kind of being over there. Because to me, I've always told people, like, when you're away, like when I was in Pendleton, everybody didn't hang out as much. When you're away in Okinawa, it's like all your brothers, they don't really have family to go hang out with or whatever. So you always kind of spend a lot of time with each other instead of, not saying that spending time with family is bad, but it just kind of brings you closer. The camaraderie is more there than it was when I went to Pendleton. And then Afghanistan was, to me, just the most, when you go into the like combat stuff, it's like more laid back. All the rules that you have to deal with back home, it's like they're not there. So it's just like, if I could have spent a year there, I would have spent a year there, just because it's way more laid back. Luckily for us, we went during a cold season, so there wasn't a whole lot going on. I think the only it ran into like 8 or 9 IEDs the entire deployment. So we were lucky for that aspect of it, but it was super laid back and chill.
Especially being motor T, because you guys are usually the ones that
Yeah.
hit them first anyway.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing that y'all didn't run into very many.
Yeah.
Did you happen to get scuba certified in Okinawa? I know that's a big thing. I did. So
No.
everybody, when I was on my way to Okinawa, was like, "Get scuba certified." That was like the first thing I did. It's
Yeah.
like half the cost. So if you go to Okinawa as a military enlisted or whatever, get your scuba certification. It's like $300.
Yeah.
It takes a weekend
Exactly.
of your time, and then boom, you're.
I had a few guys
so.
that I was in my unit that were all about it. We didn't never do it. We spent some time at the beach and did all that stuff, but we just never got scuba certified. We should have, because it'd probably help me out now that I travel a lot with my wife and stuff. Could have been certified already.
That, or even your current job, I'm sure that
for sure,
would give you some kind of promotion.
For sure.
Okay, well, thank you for your service. So it's been a minute. Yeah, I went in 2 years after you got out. I went in January of 2014, so I guess maybe a little over a year after you got out. But that's his Ram. So thank you for your service, and we'll get into your run. So I don't want to tell them what you do. I don't know if you want to just start from whenever you got out to now what you do, or if you just want to go straight into it. But this man has a crazy job. There's not very many of you out there, and most of you watching probably hate what he does. But we're going to get into it, and he's going to kind of, give some insider, like.
Yeah, so transitioning out when I went after I got out of the Marine Corps, of course, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. When I was deployed, a buddy of mine that I was deployed with, he was actually a reservist that came on our deployment. He was a reserve law enforcement for a police department down in Florida. And it kind of sparked my interest, and I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then I heard some guys talking about being firefighters. And I was like, man, I don't know what. So when I got out, I immediately applied for the Georgia State Patrol and went through their little process. And a few little things got me kicked out of the hiring process, and I didn't get hired on at that time. So my wife at the time, her pastor was the chaplain at the Carroll County Sheriff's Office. And he was like, hey, I can probably get you, I'll put a word in for you to get hired on at the Sheriff's Office. So all that took place. I got hired on at Carroll County Sheriff's Office and started in the jail. I did about 18 months in the jail, went to mandate, and then got on the road as a deputy. I spent 4.5 years there total at the sheriff's office, and then kind of was in a point in my life was like, I don't know what's next. I wasn't growing here, and the sheriff's office was kind of not that they were bad, but it was just like the money wasn't there, and it was just, I don't know, something in my brain was like, we got to do better. So again, I tried for this Georgia State Patrol, and that was a big battle because I applied again and got turned down for the same reason again. And I was like, what the heck? So started reaching out to some people, started making some connections, and ended up getting hired on. I got hired on in 2017, and currently am working for the Georgia State Patrol. Been there 9 years now, and I run a K9 for the criminal interdiction unit. So
okay.
Yeah.
So for those of you watching, this is GSP right here. I'll be up at 1 a.m. watching TikToks, and I'll see a GSP pit, and I'm like, I know a guy. Okay, well let's dig into the GSP, I guess, a little bit. Actually, no, we'll back up. We'll go back to the Marine Corps. So we'll discuss a little bit more about your Ram.
Okay.
But was there a specific moment in the Marine Corps that shaped who you are now, like as a law enforcement officer?
I don't know that I would say a specific moment. The Marine Corps did, for when I got out, I was always looking for that stability, and then that just trying to think of the word, structure. So the structure from the Marine Corps was what I was looking for outside when I got out. I didn't want to I've always told my wife I never wanted a job that would make me fat and lazy. And I felt that going into law enforcement, I know people out there, there's some overweight law enforcement guys. They're probably not in the greatest shape, but for me, I've always took that serious because it's life or death. And if I'm out of shape and the bad guy's in shape, then I lose. So it's always one of those things that's kind of kept me motivated to stay in shape and stay in the weight room and kind of keep my health to the best that I can.
Okay. No, I mean, I also served for a little bit of time here in Carrollton, city of Carrollton, so I know what you're talking about. Like, if that bad guy is in shape and he starts taking off and you're out of shape, well, you've either lost him or he's coming at you. One or the other.
Exactly.
And I feel like, at least in my short time there, usually as an officer, whether it's GSP, sheriff's department, or city, if you're in shape, the criminals tend to respect you more.
100%.
So I know you probably see that a lot, even before, because you were it was like you were a hawk unit. Is that what
Yeah,
it's called?
Nighthawks.
Yeah. So what's the difference between that and what you do now?
Okay, so when I was on Nighthawks is a DUI task force.
Okay.
So it's strictly work DUIs.
So now you work more the drug side
Yes.
with the canine.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. And you have your own dog, correct?
I do.
Okay. What kind of dog?
Belgian Malinois.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pain in the butt. Wife takes care of it more than you do?
he is very, very active and just sometimes just won't settle down and it's just like, but
Well,
for the
they
most
are
part,
high maintenance dogs.
yeah, very, very, yeah.
So I know you just kind of covered it a little bit because going from, especially the Marine Corps, where everything is like spick and span, like even in the field, if you have holes in your cameras, they're going to tell you to go put on holeless cameras. And like I'm in the field, why do I need to have cameras with no holes? Nobody's going to see me. But like trying to like the similarities between being in law enforcement and the military, like are there any other outside of like what I just kind of mentioned that you would like to pinpoint on? I know it's the brotherhood
like
for
so
me.
like I know on like the Stewart State Patrol side, and even some of like the police departments and sheriff's office, the rank structure, the non-commissioned officer side, the commissioned officer side, and then like we run everything up a chain of command. So there's a chain of command. So it's very well, like it's very similar to the military. Yeah. Especially with the Georgia State Patrol. Like a lot of our things we do resemble the Marine Corps, like almost hand in hand.
Yeah. So when I went to EVOC, I did get to see you guys training a little bit, and very militaristic. Like I know the unfortunate officers or candidates, or whatever, that have to go to Forsyth for training. They get a little bit more of that than like I did because I went up to Rome, but I couldn't do it again. Like I've had a couple people be like, "You should go GSP." I'm like, no, I don't want to go back through that. I've already been through boot camp and I've been through academy. I don't need to do more.
Right.
Where because you guys like marching formation. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any like funny stories from like mandate? You guys call it mandate as well?
Well, we call it trooper school. So I went to mandate and then trooper school. I mean, it goes back to like just, I mean, breaking you down completely all the way down. Just kind of like boot camp is. That to me, I always tell people that trooper school was harder than Marine Corps boot camp for one simple reason, was just the fact that my car was sitting in the driveway and I could leave at any moment. In boot camp, it's like I'm here, I'm stuck.
You signed
like,
that dotted line. You can't go anywhere.
I can't go nowhere. But like there, it was like my car is right there, and all I got to do is go get in it, and I can leave at any moment. So I can't really think of a specific. There were some times that like, you know, they would mess with you. We'd get up at 4 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning and they tell you something. You know, oh, somebody messed up something. It's like I know they didn't, but they would just do it, and we'd go out to the courtyard and PT. And it's like they won't, because the goal is to try to break you, and they'd like to say, "Hey, we're gonna stay here until somebody breaks." But for me, our class was like very strong. We started, I think, with 46, and I think we graduated 41. So we didn't lose many people at all.
Oh wow!
So it was a very, I guess, headstrong class that we had that nobody really gave up. We had a few that dropped out in the very beginning, but along the way it was kind of failures if they failed out on something, firearms or driving or something like that. But for the most part, we held most of our classmates.
What's the retention rate for start to finish usually?
Usually, I think it's in the years past it used to be like probably less than 50%. But now as the years have gone, it's they've kind of implemented a few things that try to hold that retention with. I think we were the first class that had like a 2-week, your family got to come see you. And then after that 2 weeks, you start, which everybody usually stayed for a month, and then you started going home on the weekends. But they broke it up by allowing after the first 2 weeks, your family got to come see you for like a couple hours, and then after that, you got started to go home. So they started implementing a few things to try to hold the retention. But I mean, as far as the I guess the classes and the driving, the firearm stuff like that, I mean, that's just really on your own.
Yeah.
So if they fail, they fail.
Yeah. You guys get like a chance to make up? Or
yeah, I think there's like the rule is like 3 tests you have to fail before they actually send you home or whatever. But yeah, you get a retake on, I think, all your exams, like your driving and stuff, you get a retake, and firearms get a retake. But
okay, so it's pretty similar to mandate, but a little bit harder just because of the overall scheme of things.
Yeah.
Because I mean, GSP. I mean, you hear of other state police, but GSP is like notorious for being just a-holes. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, you are one, so I mean, you could let us know if it's true or not. But my experience with GSP, I deserved what I got. We'll talk about that off camera, but he wasn't an a-hole. I deserved what I got. So, and the other time I got pulled over by GSP, he let me off with a warning just because it was like 2 in the morning. So I was like, that's it was a nice guy.
Yeah, it's
Might have even been you. I don't know. This was years ago.
Could have been. The thing is like our motto is always to be compassionate, and sometimes for people it's compassionate with a ticket, or sometimes compassionate with a warning. So it just depends on the violation.
Yeah. Well, getting into that, what's like the biggest misconception about GSP or even state patrol in general?
Um, I think a lot of people, and I'm not some people's experiences. I've heard this from other people. They're like, "Man, if a trooper stops you, you're getting a ticket." I think that's a big misconception. It's not always true, but to some people, like some people's experience, are like, "I've never got a warning," but to me, I think it's a big misconception that people get like we're just ticket riders, but we do everything. Like that's what a lot of people don't understand is that like one of the other main things that made me transition from the sheriff's office to the state patrol is like we have a lot of specialties that you can get into, and they're full-time specialties. Like we have a full-time SWAT and dive team, we have a full-time special reconstruction crash unit, and we have DUIs, and then criminal interdiction. We have a crime suppression unit that works in Atlanta full-time. So there's a lot of specialties that you can get into.
Okay. So, and you can kind of correct me if I'm wrong, but say you were to work for a city PD, you're only allowed in that city, but GSP, y'all can go over the state. So
For
you
sure.
guys, anywhere in the state, your
Yeah.
badge is.
We can go like a lot of guys that travel to and from training or whatever, which like the job that I'm in now, we work everywhere. So like one day I may be out on I-20 in Haralson County. Tomorrow I may be down in Coweta on 85. So we go a lot of places. Now your state patrol posts, they're broken down into territories, and those guys work those territories mainly. Excuse me, but if they end up having to go to somewhere else and they see something they want to stop, they can stop it.
Oh, well, that's kind of scary to know that.
it.
And another thing that I like to do on this channel is like somebody in your position that's a veteran, successful in your career afterwards. I like for you to give advice to future veterans. So whether it's a current veteran or somebody that's like watching this who might be a couple months from getting out, they're like, I don't know if I should get out because I don't know if like I'll be successful. What advice would you give to a current veteran or somebody that's about to be in that veteran status if they were considering like law enforcement? What kind of advice would you give them?
I always tell people like law enforcement. A lot of people nowadays are scared to get into law enforcement because of our society and what's going on in the world today. But the problem is those people that if you are thinking about law enforcement, go full swing, like go all in, because we need more people to be in law enforcement, want to be in law enforcement to help change things the way things are. The reason it is the way it is today is because more people are scared to do things. If you just get out there and do your job, and obviously there's a little more rules here and there that you have to follow, but if you stay within those guidelines, you can still proactively police, and put bad guys in jail. So if you're looking to go into law enforcement, don't shy away from it. Dig in. That was my biggest mistake when I never really, even when I went into the Marine Corps, I didn't really dive in to figure out what the Marine Corps is about. I just knew that like I'll backtrack. So when I first went in, I was looking at the Army. I talked to an Army recruiter before, and then afterwards, like it was just like something about him that didn't kind of like spark my interest. I don't know, it was something. But then when I went and talked to the Marine Corps, he was squared away. He was ready to go, and he just sat me down and was like, "What do you want to do? What do you know?" And it was just more involved. So I always tell people just dive in, figure out what it's about before you jump in, and then make sure that's what you want to do. But don't shy away from it if law enforcement is something you want to do. There's still you can still proactive police, and you can still go out there and take bad guys to jail and help the society as a whole.
Yeah. I feel like law enforcement is probably a pretty easy transition for most military members.
For sure.
Just because of, like you said, the structure, having that chain of command still and not just going out there on your own and not knowing what to do. That's one reason that I went into it, just because I like wearing a uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, it kind of sucks not to sometimes, but the uniform aspect of it, the team aspect of it, the brotherhood aspect of it, that's what draws a lot of veterans to policing. So, as you said, that's one thing that drew you to it.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say, like, for long-term success in that career, what would be a good, I don't know, daily habit to get into, or even just like, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a daily habit, but what kind of habits would be good to have a successful career in what you do?
Definitely for me, it's always just been fitness. Fitness and health. Like if you want longevity in this life in general, it's just fitness and health. Um, that to me is a number one priority. Be proactive. Don't get lazy. Don't get complacent.
Mm.
A lot of people get in this job. I've watched TikTok reels. I know a lot of people that they know the first 5 years you could do this, and then the next 10 years is this, and it's like don't stop being proactive. Keep pushing, and we don't need to be complacent when we get down the road 10 years, and it's like, oh, I'll let the new guys do all the work and whatever. It's like, no, keep being proactive and take the bad guys to jail. That's our job. The community wants us to do that. Put bad guys in jail. I mean, and protect them. So just always strive for more. Strive for more. Don't ever be lazy and get complacent.
I like that. And I've told you guys like 3 times now that I need to bring on, lazier veterans. But once again, it's very difficult to find lazy veterans who are successful in their careers, or, business entrepreneurs, or, leaders in their company or whatever. So I did bring another, bodybuilder on. So I'm sorry for that, but I'm trying. Even the last episode, Colonel Miller, you know, she's not a bodybuilder, but she stays very active.
Right.
She's got her own company and all this other stuff, and she's out there teaching women hand-to-hand combat basically. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Once again, I just have not been able to find a lazy veteran. Um, so adding to that, and I guess I know the answer is probably going to include bodybuilding, but you have a very stressful job. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, I've been there in some of these situations. Obviously, you've been doing it a lot longer, but what's a good stress reliever for you?
Definitely my gym time. Like first thing in the morning, which I used to not be. So when I was on the Nighthawks, like I get home at 6. I'd sleep till 2, get up in the afternoon and go do my thing at the gym or whatever. And I was not a morning person. When I transitioned to the unit that I'm in now, actually my brother-in-law, he started going to the gym early in the morning and just like, hey, you want to work out? I'm like, yeah. So now I get up at 5 and go to the gym every morning. And if I can get that in, it's like it starts my day like really good. Now afterwards, like when I come home, my wife will tell you like I'm a person that, like I just need an hour or so to just to sit in my recliner, turn on some TV, and just kind of zone out. I don't care if it's a show that I watched 100 times. It's like just something I want to do. Like I just need to watch some TV, kind of forget about everything that's happened, and it's just a good stress relief for me. So definitely gym and just some time to yourself. Everybody needs a little bit of time to yourself. I don't say isolation because sometimes isolation can lead to other things, depression and stuff like that. But give yourself a little bit of time away from everything to shut everything down, kind of, just be free, and then definitely stay and staying active, be in the gym, even if it's just a few times a week. A lot of people get so caught up in like I got to go this many times. It's like, no, just get in there when you can, 3 or 4 or 5 days, whatever it may be. That's my biggest thing.
So that alone time, that helps you separate work from family time.
For sure.
I feel like. Okay.
For sure.
Now, this is a big question, and there might be an answer to it. There might not be an answer to it. I don't know. Because like infantry guys, they tell you you're either going to be a cop or a stripper when you get out. I was a cop for a very short period of time, and I don't really know what I'm about to do, but I'm not stripping it for anybody. What if tomorrow GSP were to like lay you off? Mm-hmm. What would you do? If there's anything at all, what would be your career?
So, the reason I went into being a motor team mechanic when I was in the Marine Corps was I've grown up just around mechanics my entire life, hot rods, stuff like that. That's just something I've always wanted to do. I'm currently actually building a 1968 C10 truck that was my granddaddy's, and when I got out, that was the first thing. I was going to go to school and do all the mechanics thing, and then the school that somebody told me about was like in Orlando, and I'm like, I don't want to go to Orlando. Like, I want to stay here. So definitely, probably go into like mechanics, but I would have to be like, I wouldn't just do like a express lube. Like, it'd have to be like a hot rod shop, a custom shop, something like that. I love cars and fast cars and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, I know you'd be very successful doing that, but yeah, my dad's got a Chevy. It's like a 1979 Chevy CST10. Beautiful truck. I've been asking him for it for years. He still hasn't given it to me. Maybe one day. This would be our last question, and you can take your time with this one. But what is something about Georgia State Patrol troopers that our viewers would be like, oh, that's interesting to know, like an interesting fact? Like I already know that like apparently you can tell me if I'm wrong or not. But if you were to walk up to my car to give me a ticket and you're not wearing your hat, the ticket's invalid. Is that true?
No.
Okay. All right. So we'll take that off the list. That's not true. Okay. Well,
they will get somebody will call and be like, hey, this trooper didn't have his hat on, and they will definitely be like, why didn't you have your hat on? So
you're getting in trouble for it.
It's definitely
the ticket's still valid.
Yeah, it's still a big thing to put your hat on.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, what's something that these people might be like, oh wow, I didn't know that.
A lot of, like I said, I've said it before, but a lot of people think that the State Patrol only works crashes and works traffic, but we, like I said, across the board, we are involved in everything. We're actually, Georgia State Patrol is an assisting agency. So anytime another agency calls, we try to be there to assist with anything, whether that be a domestic dispute, a robbery, or whatever the case may be. We're always there to help. A lot of our chase stuff usually comes from other agencies because a lot of other agencies, their chase policies don't allow them to chase, or they can't pit, or they have a speed cap on their pits, or whatever the case may be. So a lot of people don't realize that we are solely an assisting agency. Okay. We're there to help other agencies, which is the reason why we work crashes. There's a lot of territories that they don't want GSP to work the crashes, and they work their own crashes. So I think a lot of people don't realize that they don't do anything but write tickets and work crashes, but they do like I said, full-time SWAT. There's we have a special reconstruction crash unit. We have a negotiations team for our SWAT unit. We have DUI task force, criminal interdiction, and crime suppression. So there's just many units across the board that we assist in a lot of ways.
Okay. It's been like 4 years for me. But what is the 10 code for like he's running?
A 1080.
A 1080. That's right. Okay. So do you get excited when you hear 1080?
Oh, all day.
As long as it's in your like area, you're like, oh, I could get there.
Yeah.
You like
that?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. And like especially now the unit that I'm in, sometimes it's like where like you would be, say if you were in a certain area and you're like it may be close by. Like sometimes depending on where it's at, we may stretch it out and get there if we can get there. Especially now that I'm a canine, so with us, my dogs track and do apprehension work, so we definitely try to get there and help as much as we can.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say if it's anything drug related, that's up your alley, so you're ready to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, I mean, how would you say that your purpose is in motion currently? So I'm trying to figure out a better way to phrase that. So, like the whole point of Veterun is a purpose in motion. Mm-hmm. So we enjoy being thanked once a year for being veterans,
right?
But we're still running. So how would you say that your purpose is still in motion? Like how are you still running? Like what's your career end game?
I'm trying to understand. So you're saying like what is my purpose for continuing to do
what you do after the military? Yeah.
I guess family, like especially with like fitness and stuff, for me it's just longevity. Yeah. I tell people you only got one life to live. Like you only get one of them, so like treating your body good and longevity, I want to live as long as the good Lord will let me, and I don't want to do anything in between that to screw that up. I have a 10-year-old son, and I want to see him grow old and be, see grandkids and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it's continuing to be there for him and be with my family.
Okay.
So
do you think your career in law enforcement on top of that kind of like balances that out a little bit?
For sure. And that, I mean, at the end of the day, like I want to be with my family. I want to come home to my family. So the things that I do in between, like to relieve stress, is strictly for that, to be able to come home to my family.
All right. So if you see GSP on the road and they're pulling you over, don't run. Don't give him a 1080 because he wants to go home too.
Yes, exactly.
Just pull over, let him give you that warning or ticket, and then you can both go home safely. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Anyway, like I said before, Veterun is a purpose in motion. So for the veterans watching, for the civilians watching, for the active duty who are currently in that transition to become veterans, like no matter what you think you're going through, there's something for you on the outside. if you're on that fence about staying in or getting out, and you're like, I think I might stay in because I have no career options outside. We've had businessmen, we've had business owners, we've had leaders, we've had gym owners, we've had a bunch of bodybuilders. Like everybody's been a bodybuilder so far, and we're all being very successful on the outside. So that's just to help you realize that no matter what you're doing or what you're planning on doing, there are plenty of us out here who are currently successful in a multitude of different career fields that can help you get there. So once again, if that's you, leave a comment, and you know what we do.
We
We
run.
run.